Stream's back up. Now, yeah, my voice appears to be heard now.
Woo!
Yay. We should be good. Everyone can hear us?
We're good.
It's true, Stranger Source. I became Alley Claw over the last week.
And the strangest cross-continental body swap ever.
Since at least Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yes.
Look at that beautiful head circle.
Precious, beautiful, lovely.
Are you working on layer 2? I'm going to assume you are.
Yep.
So anyway, in case anyone didn't hear the original introduction, because I know the stream didn't, this piece is Spitfire Color Portrait Drawing by Official Fluttershy. And Alley Claw and I are just splitting off our parts here so we can go ahead and critique this thing. If the stream has anything they would like to ask or any pieces they would like critiqued, please feel free to fire it into the chat and we'll do our best to address it. Also, we do have a mumble. To get on it, hop on to the IRC. That's found on the subreddit. You can join there, find the mumble on it. It's too much effort.
Plug.
Yeah.
I'll plug it. Hold on.
It's great. You can talk to us and be like, "Oh my God, it's Living Dead and Alley Claw, my heroes."
We're real people, just like you.
I don't believe it. We're real. I think
No?
you're a figment of my imagination.
You just made up the entire drawing school.
Yeah. Haven't we already gone over this reality?
Totally horse famous, official. We got a badge somewhere, I swear.
Stranger Source, for this limited time only, we'll let you talk to us.
Next time you have to pay.
Yep. The payment is 1 pony. I mean, you're part of the art school. I expect you to be able to draw 1 pony. I believe in you. I think the only person who never drew a pony in our art school was Koitsu.
I don't think I was around for them.
You didn't miss much.
Ah, I see.
She didn't draw a pony. It was just...
Oh. I would also like to remind everybody how much of a not good program this is to work in. So, don't take these strokes as how you're supposed to do things.
Oh. It is just the best program ever because it actually works some days. It's the only program we've found that works for network streaming drawing. I mean, there's that one web UI one that runs in like Java, but it was just horrendous compared to this.
Oh, I have no doubt, no doubt.
Oh, I remember someone in our art school was also writing a program to do it.
Oh yeah, that was the thing.
Yeah, that was totally a thing. I don't remember going past early alpha of having just a few tools working, but I mean, it was a thing, and it was all web-based.
That's pretty dang nifty. See, look at the nifty things you can discover at the drawing school.
You can discover floor 5.
That's a magical thing.
The eyes are actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Them eyes.
Demise are good. They need a little cheek. They need a little muzzle. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you reduce the eye on the one side. Wait, why am I saying this? I could just draw it. What?
I got a comment though. The colors, pretty good colors going on here.
I agree. And it all looks like it's pencil.
Mm-hmm.
Or are you talking about our crazy colors that we're using for red lines? Because it's not red line, it's rainbow line.
Rainbow line. That's the new official term. Nah, I'm talking about the guy's colors.
Sweet.
Let's see, what color haven't we used? I'll go with pink or purpley pink. Do some outfit drawing.
Bright neon green.
You already got that.
I know. You know what the hair reminds me of? Fry from Futurama.
You're totally right.
Alright, I think I'm ready to address what I'm seeing here.
Go for it.
Alright. So basically what I've done is I've just redesigned the muzzle. The only reason we do this square 3D muzzle is to set a base for what we build on. So in this case, I have the muzzle going off the halfway mark, which ranges based on your pony design. It's either halfway or about 3/4 to, sorry, 3/4, no, not 3/4, 1/4 to 1/3, depending on how small and petite you want your muzzle. If you're to look at references from the show, from the front, the muzzle will be up about the halfway point, but from the side, it actually lowers down to about the 3rd point. It's fine, play around with it, decide how you want the muzzle, but for this case, I'll just be using the halfway line because it's easiest. So, based off the head circle that we've established in this nice baby blue here, and the head cross that we've established in this darker blue, I have placed your muzzle on the halfway split by the horizontal or vertical line. The square boxiness of it establishes which direction and the sort of volume that it will create. This helps us prevent things like losing the side of the muzzle, like you unfortunately did around, let me see if I shut off layer 3. Yeah, you unfortunately did around this area. People on the stream should see a weird red circle dancing around. And the bottom part of the muzzle you lost, or not muzzle, jaw. And that was lost over on the opposite side of the jaw. So by giving it this 3D shape here, we're able to establish where the extents of the inside and the outside of that jaw are. The easiest way to make this 3D shape is imagine that it's a set of two rectangles. So in this dark red here, I'll draw the rectangles for you. So we have rectangle 1. And then rectangle 2 is the lower jaw. Voila. Now that jaw connects to the back of the skull, unfortunately. Makes it a little bit more awkward, but it helps create a pivot point around it, which is right somewhere below the eye. That's not really needed until you start getting into further details. So we'll just go back to where we're at right now with the muzzle shape here. Erasing, one moment. Oh no, it only has so many undos. Alright, we're left with the red box forever, because I forgot to switch it to a new layer.
That's okay.
Anyway, using this red box, we're able to smooth out the edges and create the outside shape of the muzzle. Now, if you want to keep with the more show style, the easiest way to do that after using the box method is to just erase the inside lines. Something like this. And now that those inside lines are erased, we have the show style muzzle where it's only an outline. And then we can pull off the same sort of thing with the bottom. It's slightly more difficult, but only because we have to try and keep a line open for the mouth, just to show where that cheek is, as you've done with yours around here. But voila, you have one show style-ish muzzle.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Now, the eye we've mildly corrected, and all we've done is we've just pulled it in just a little bit to try and keep with the head circle as opposed to having it puff out. And we've added just the top of an eye, or the eye poofiness, and just the bottom of the cheek. And the only reason we add that is so we can create or show that there is the other side of the face and it's not just an eyeball hanging off, because they don't pop out, they sort of pull in their massive domes. All right, you got anything to show, Alicla?
I do. I have a few things. So first I'll go off the ear, since you've been doing the head. We'll just finish up the head then. Basically, for the shape they had going, it was looking pretty good. They had the nice arc and the right connection point of the head. But for a more show style pony, usually you see them bring around and then it'll connect to the back of the head. Where I have this, let me draw this in one second. That you have the connection right there, and it'll connect to the back of the head and not overlap, because then it looks as if the ear is connected fully from the, like, it's connected from the front of the head, and it should be connected from the back and the sides. It curves with the head. But yes, usually just a nice little swoop. You're on the right curve. Bring it down slightly to eye level, where you have the connection. Is the little arrow I drew, and just a little slit right there to show how this portion, this is connected, but it's not all the way connected down here. So it's the front of the ear that's connected. Other than that, for the body, if we're looking at a pony shape, you can see that the neck has just been brought down, and it's almost like I can describe it like a sock puppet. Like, you know, you put your hand up and it's just this long straight tube and then the head. But if you're going for that, it looks good. But for a pony, just gotta remember that you have the basic anatomy of take a straight line down for the neck and a curve for the front poof, little front tummy. And you always, I like the bean method. You just make yourself a little bean body. Add your legs and just do as you did with the clothing, except this time fix it around the bean shape of the pony, you know? Play with it. Clothes are hard to begin with, so kudos. But yeah, that's really all I had to say. Just watch on making the sock puppet and make it a bean pony instead. It's more fun.
trying to read the date. Does that say 2016 or 2060?
16. It's definitely 16. It's a
Ah.
fancy 1. That's what it is.
Very fancy. All right.
Well,
That's pretty much all we got. The main's actually pretty good. There is one single point of oddness, and that's just because of this chunk of hair here. And the only reason it's odd is because it's like it seems to be a solid shape sitting on the head. It's fine. The easiest way to correct it would just be to remove the bottom a little bit here, where I've just thrown some of that light on. And then that's going to make it flow smoother into... He'll make it flow smoother into the rest of the mane.
agreed.
Flobish, this picture is ginormica. I actually forget its size offhand. It's something along like 2000 by 2000, or 2000 by something or another. Anyway, on to the next piece. Oh, I think this one's even bigger.
Oh, good. No offense to the picture, just... It takes a while to load.
Oh, I'm sorry. My internet should be somewhat fast.
Oh, it's not you, it's my computer.
I bet Drawpile doesn't have the best net code either.
Nah, yeah, I bet.
Ooh, this one's got a good try at a 3D muzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to say Stallion. You're going to agree?
Definitely. Definitely going for Stallion.
Donhart. So this is Donhart OC portrait drawing by Official Fluttershy. Hey! That's our second Official Fluttershy pick. What do you know?
Woo. On a roll.
Which is awesome because it shows what critique we just gave for that muzzle shape. They actually have it on here. They just need to work on the jaw a bit. And their eye is looking great.
Mm-hmm.
The ear is actually closer to what you were saying for the other ear.
Oh, definitely, yeah. The ear has a lot of improvement to it.
You can see
Even some depth.
Look at their chest too, the neckline.
A lot of improvement.
Like if you were to add just a little back beyond the mane, the body would be there.
Wait, what's the date? How
Same
far?
date.
Same date.
Oh no, this is the 10th? I think that's what that says. Enhance. I'm gonna say that's 10. So that would be 2 days later.
Wow.
Nice improvement.
They took the critique from the future.
I wonder if they came back from the future to do it.
They wanted to surprise us.
Makes sense. All right. I do have a few things about this. Ellie, you want to... looks like they've approached this with a bit of shading. You want to maybe throw down some shading details here?
Sure, I'll try.
Now, some of the shading might not have been picked up as dark as it is on the original artist's work, mostly because it appears to be a cell phone camera taking these pictures. If they were to use a very, very bright white light over top of it, we'd be picking up a lot more of the dark colors that they've put down. Unfortunately, normal light cell phones and just not good image they don't have good image processors to deal with documents. So if you're gonna,
I need a layer, please.
I guess if you're gonna end up using a cell phone or a camera to take the picture of your art, oh, what the heck? We lost it for a moment.
It's back. It's back.
All right. As I was saying, if you're going to end up using a camera or a cell phone picture for your art, I highly suggest using as much light shining on there as possible. So an overhead lamp, or even like a really bright flashlight with a wide beam. Try and dump as much light onto that thing as possible. Or easier yet, most printers will be the multi-printers now, where they have a scanner bed in. Just throw it on there and scan. It'll make your picture much poppier. Poppier is the word? It's now a word.
Sure.
Shading. Oh, your shading corrected the ear. Congratulations.
Woo!
Oh, I see what they're doing. Oh, they actually used... Oh.
What's that?
The jaw suddenly makes sense. Puffy cheeks on it. Or the really hard jaw bone that actual horses have.
Yes. They definitely went for a more realistic horse than the show style. Especially with the ears. I see it in the ears.
Mm-hmm. Nice hybrid. So just something real quick about the muzzle. My suggestion is make the muzzle angle of the... right here. Make it follow the angle of the head. Not angle the head, sorry. The circle that would be there. So in this case, it's sitting at about 30 degrees. Man, look at those erasing skills.
I was trying to attempt using the smudge tool. I just don't know how to properly use it.
It's a very poor water tool.
Yeah, I miss my SAI tools.
Photoshop, heck, even GIMP.
I guess I'll give a little talk. So it's funny that you talk about pop with taking pictures. It can also help with pop of shading and shadow and light. We can't forget about light. It's the opposite. It's like the good and the dark. So what I've done here is from before. Hold on, if I can quick. Where's my select tool? There you are. I'm just gonna get rid of this little guy here, and we're gonna cut him. So before, there's some very nice shading. They have the basic idea, but what we can really do to improve this is push the shading, especially under the neck and really dark areas. So we put more. No, give it. There it goes. Okay. So we put this guy in, and it already can make the jaw pop from the neck itself instead of feeling flat. It's hard to tell, in my opinion, using the digital program versus traditional stuff, because graphite pictures, we're going to get such a clear color when I use the digital, but the idea still stays the same. Even in all areas, in all light, it's good to have a light source. So especially when you're observing shade and shadow, and one of the things we can look at is where the light's coming from. So with this, I'm going to assume the light has a general position of just coming straight on down in front, maybe a little more, but we have it head on. So we look at the base areas where the light will not completely hit the pony, which is under the hair, which we have here. Just the little spots under the face is going to be covered, and the ear is going to, of course, cause some darkness to appear, as well as some of the mane, because you think of the light would seep right under that mane, but no, there's still going to be darkness protruding from the main area just because of the idea of surrounding light. This is the main light source up here, but there's still light all around. So we go down to the neck, it's going to probably be the darkest point of the pony. Give it some nice dark contrast compared to the head, which will really, in my opinion, it'll help make it pop. It'll make it feel more 3D. And I think just the general lesson here is to don't be afraid to push the shade and shadow and experiment. You're not going to get it right the first time, and it's going to smudge, and you're probably going to be angry, and that's okay. That happens. That's art. You learn, it's frustrating, you try, fail, try again. But it's worth it in the end. And don't be afraid to then start putting lights in, starting in a mid-tone, like working with a toned paper, like gray or brown tone paper, and starting with that so you can work from dark and light and not just have to remember that light's going to be there. You can add it in, because that's one of the difficulties with working with white paper in traditional. You have to think where the light's going to hit first, because you can't work dark to light, you have to work light to dark. So that's another thing to keep in mind using white paper and trying to do black and white work. I guess that's all I have to really say about that. I don't know if I can show anything too strictly at this point with the digital program.
No, that's good. I think you've got your point across.
Woo!
All right, shall we go on to the next piece then?
Let's do it.
Do. What's our next one? One sec. Oh. Aha. Sorry, sometimes when saving from DeviantArt, it doesn't save as an actual image format that's editable.
Ooh.
Alright, server should be up now.
Cool.
So this one is my first OC, Astral Glider, by I can't pronounce the name. Oh, General Ichi.
Ah. Tricky one.
Silly no spaces and things. So it's sort of like a changeling, it seems. It's got elements of that in the spine, the sort of webbing between that. Then it's not quite sure what type of bug has those big antennas. Like a stink bug kind of thing.
Cockroach?
Yeah. But I think we can still work base anatomy on this at least. The spine's really well rendered.
Mm-hmm. That has to be applauded, honestly. I like the spine and tentacles, all that. It's very nicely done.
Like the tentacles, eh?
Uh,
General anatomy can be addressed, though, such as the legs, the muzzle, a little bit on the eye. We've gone over that before. Ear placement, maybe. It depends on how they want to place the ears, personally, because it is obviously not a standard pony.
mm-hmm. It has a very changeling shape to it. Changelings have more like the cylindrical ear.
Mm-hmm. Which are definitely placed way up top.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, do you want to take the head this time and I'll take the body?
I was just about to suggest that. Little switch up.
Alright. How about I give you layers too?
I would love that.
Alright, feel free to go to town.
Alright, let's do this.
Proportions seem accurate. Well, as accurate as I'd expect. Ooh, you can see they've actually used head circles too. You see the indent on the where they erase the circle?
Yeah, totally.
There's
They got the base stuff going.
Mm-hmm. Unless if they were just doing another drawing over top of this that was identical. That would just be weird.
It's just a copybook, all the same picture drawn over and over.
They just push really hard to get it. So how are you liking the hue on?
It's good. It's good. It's taking a lot to get used to, especially with the screen separation. Like, I know tablet separation is huge, but whew, it's off by a few millimeters, and it still gets to you. It's like you feel that difference.
Like the glass plate between the LCD?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. I guess that's something Wacom does a pretty dang good job of. Their glass basically is on top of the LCD. There's a little edge separation where it goes wonky because your actual area that you set is within the edges. So as you move to the edges, you can feel it just accelerate towards it.
Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, yeah. It's good. It's really good. It's really honestly a learning curve. All forms are a learning curve for me, at least. But hey, it's fun and I'm playing with it. Oh, that's the other thing I actually noticed today. The pen sensitivity. There's a slight jump.
Oh, you should be able to set the mapping for that. It'll be a curve, and you can map out those weird jumps.
I should play with that. Because we just got the colors right last night. We were working on that.
That is a pain in the arse.
Yeah. Well, it was funny. I was streaming, and then Inky brought the stream up on his laptop, and I'm looking at it on the Huon, and I'm like, are my colors really that saturated? Like, Rarity's coming out pink.
Don't forget, streaming does re-encode the video, so it can break your saturation.
Yeah, but this was really, like, it's different than normal, like streaming via my laptop and using my Intuos.
Fair enough. What do you use as a cell phone?
I have a Samsung.
Samsung, which model?
I believe 5.
A
S5?
Samsung. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the 5.
Just the 5. One of the nice things about cell phones is generally their color, what their color settings are is actually pretty close to what it should be. Like screens, you'll often get a lot of saturation and brightness out of it, but as far as the red, blue, and greens, they're actually generally pretty close. Now, some screens will favor the greens, some screens will favor the blues. None seems to ever favor red. But it's generally a lot better than your LCD monitor for trying to do the comparison.
That's a good point.
I know Apple does a insanely good job at making their colors very good. Apple, the iPhones are pretty good, but the MacBook Pros are insanely good for their colors. Now, if only their price matched that.
Ugh. Do I treat the ear like a changeling ear or a pony ear?
I'd go changeling.
Okay.
Copper core connected.
It was a slash.
Hi?
Ah!
Flow bish connected.
Hey guys,
Flow bish moved to art by the server.
Oh,
Uh,
fish.
we got a
Oh,
small
yeah?
army. You got to turn down the sensitivity on your mic just a touch. It's exploded.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, hello.
There you go. Well, that's Flowbish.
Fish. It's a fish.
Well, hello.
It's been a real long time since I've seen a bish.
It's only been a few months.
It's been a sad few months.
Aww.
How about now?
It's still eating itself. Turn its sensitivity down.
Vital underscore mender connected.
Wow, it's a real party in here. All right.
I'm only there for like a moment and a half before I have to go.
Are we streaming tonight? Or
It's
what?
streaming right now.
We're live.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Whoa! No swearing.
Son of a bish.
There you go.
All swears must be bishified.
Bishy, bishin thing.
Alrighty. So, real quick on the leg shape and body shape here. So, if you're watching the entire stream instead of just the little link I send you, basically what we have here is the jelly bean shape formed off of two circles, the back circle being slightly larger than the front circle. They can range in size difference from about 3/4 of a head for the front to a full head on the back. Will be some sizes. Whoa.
Oh,
Whoa. Wait.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Can you Oh, are you guys streaming?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry.
Flow note is now muted.
To the art channel.
To the art.
Ally Claw entered channel. Flow bish
There we
entered
are
channel.
again.
Art.
Art. Alright. Sorry about that, everyone. Exploding things. People decided to join Mumble. It happens. Anyhow, as I was saying with the body shape, generally the front's about 3/4 of a head and the back's about one full head size. This will vary based on their direction and the position you have the camera. So it's sort of up to the best you can. As far as the legs go, so what I've done is corrected the legs a little bit here. We've widened up the entire hip, so it takes up almost that full circle. It's about 3/4 of the circle size that we've done for the back. Ooh, yes, we can use a different color. 3/4 of the circle size for the back here. And as we go down, we've actually added the haunch back into it. Now that haunch is formed from the bone shape. The bone shape looks something like this. As soon as I grab a pen. pony bones.
Ponies.
Yeah, they're great. That's why, anyway, the bones here is the reason we formed this haunch. It's you'll see it on horses, not nearly as sharp as on MLP, but that's fine because it's a cartoon horse show. With your front legs, we have expanded them just so the hoof ends up being about 3/4 of a head wide. Once again, this varies based on the gender of the pony. So females will actually have a smaller hoof compared to the males. Like if you go look at Big Mac, he almost has a hoof to a head size. They're massive, where someone like Twilight Sparkle would have only about 3/4 to a half a hoof by the end of it. One more thing we've done here is we have taken the base line of the chest and we've pulled it up. So this line right here. The reason we pull it up is because the actual back of the body goes around like this and comes up. The part we see from the side is just the hip that actually hangs down. This can be seen from some of their back shots where you'll see something like this. Really quick pony. Wow.
Looks good.
You'll see something like that, and that pulled up area is this thing right here that I just doodled all over. Alright, Aliclaw, you want to hop on next?
Alright, I got the head this turn. So, basically, it's kind of applying the same things we talked about with the previous heads we've worked with, and let me just grab a different color. We have the same idea. You know, you have your head with the curve. Nice little, always good to have that circle, and always good to map out the X in the circle. And what we basically have is the box coming out, following the curve of the circle, back in, curve down, back over, back in, and then for the bottom part, down, over, and a little to the side to create that jawbone, the jawbone right underneath. And it makes a lovely, lovely little pony, you know. Take those steps and erase them. Well, except for that one. So we can have a smile. That's allowed, right? We can have a fun little smile.
I guess you're allowed this time.
This time I can be happy.
Next time we need sad ponies.
Oh, okay. Okay. Little tear. But so once that little method, which we talked about with the muzzle, is applied to any, 3/4 turn pony, it's always the fun one to go with. We cannot forget this cheek. I see a lot of people who go over the cheek because the muzzle goes farther out, or they just, because of the angle, they don't think about the cheek on the other side. This cheek is going to really make your pony. It's going to have the slight pop. It's going to give it just the slight roundness of the head that you are missing. And you'll give it a little chubby cheek, make it feel cuter, and bring the eye up. And then again, the little puff out for where the eye is. And you got yourself a nice pony muzzle and head shape. For the ear, what I did was I adjusted it and I brought it up and I curved it in a little bit. I have this slight curve in here at its attachment and here. And what I did, I made it taller and longer, more like a changeling and pony hybrid. What else can I talk about? Yes, and by doing this, if you bring the center line of the ear all the way up to the top, it brings more of a idea of roundness to the ear instead of cutting off where they have cut off sort of halfway on the ear point. If you bring it up further, it'll show the dominance of which side of the ear is showing. So this side is more pushed towards the back, like the horse's ear is starting to go backwards. Otherwise, I just had a quick adjustment to the eye circles. Instead of bringing the eye circle in so far as they did, what I did was I brought it more lined up to the muzzle. So it's along the muzzle's lines. And that's where the eye would sit in comparison to the nose. So yay, there's the head. Otherwise, this top fin and the little tentacles, those are perfect. I really have nothing to say about them. They're great.
Love them. Very well rendered. All right.
The next image.
I think that's about accurate. Well, let me see what the next one is. We either have fist butters or we have illustrations.
Can you repeat that?
Illustrations.
Oh, thank you.
I think we're gonna do illustrations.
Oh, really? I like the names.
Or we're not, because I can't seem to find it. One sec.
Bow to your waifu.
Apparently it's already there. It's a shame they couldn't get the name Bow to Your Waifu on Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, feel free to hop in.
Done and done.
So we're discussing this piece a little bit earlier, and what we came up with is this person actually has managed to submit art 2 to 3 times a week, which is awesome. We've talked about their general anatomy, a little bit about the muzzles, a little bit about the hoof shape, and we've talked a little bit about the shading. Now, we do see their shading has improved. It seems to be more unified. Everything, the light angle seems to be a bit better. They are improving. There's still areas of improvement that can be happening, and we're going to maybe point out a few of the issues with the shading, but as far as the anatomy, we're going to leave that mostly alone. So, do you want to take shading?
I mean, trying to think what I can add, because there was a segment where we talked about shading and pushing shading, and you can see that they're definitely starting to push shading. Definitely exploring the darker of the darks and not just kind of putting their foot in, or toe, or whatever you'd like to call it. There is some inconsistency issues I still see, and I don't know if it would help to think about where all the light sources are. I know we're in the sky, so there's going to be a lot of strange light sources, because if you think about it, it's daylight. We get that from the picture. The sun is everywhere. But I guess we got to figure out where the sun is most focused. Because I think my biggest discrepancy with where the light is this one... Yeah, I'm on the 4th layer. Okay. This area right here. It seems to be getting a bunch of light, even though it's kind of in the more hidden, darker areas.
So what would you do to make sure you don't run into that issue in your drawings?
Well, just as you've done, I would definitely have your arrows, your little cylinder arrows, so you know the direction in a 3D form. It's also acceptable to have, just a simple arrow to remind yourself, okay, there's light coming here, but maybe my main light, draw a little bit bigger arrow, my main light's going to be coming from this side, but you have your overall light is coming down from the sun. But it seems like from what I'm reading of the light sources in this drawing, the other light is coming from this sort of back direction, hitting towards the face on like this side of the face right here. Erase that. I would say be careful about using the darks that you have. I'm not sure if they used an overlay of black. It can sometimes muddle up your color. What I highly suggest is looking at your color wheel and choosing your colors opposite to shade with. It'll make your colors pop in the end. Like, we're using this blue here for Rainbow Dash. You go to your color wheel, you look over, it's like, oh, there's red. So what you do is you tone down the red, make it a little darker. Ugh, I wish I had better tools in this device, but it's gonna make your darkers pop and not muddle out the blue. Even though this isn't blood, I promise. It'd be a lot better if I had settings.
Sure she didn't just work in the Rainbow Factory?
It's possible. It's very possible. Bloop. So yeah, I would definitely say always be conscious of where your light is coming from. And if you feel as if there's not enough light on an image, or you feel there's not enough darks, don't just start adding. Because I found that I used to do that. And honestly, it's not gonna help whatever issue you're having with your drawing. If you just add a bulk of light, or if you feel like, oh, that looks flatter than the rest. Sure, if you're gonna explore deeper lighting and shading, explore how the darkers are different. You could make this area, let me get a little color going, pen. So this leg area could be brighter than this area here. This could be a dark area where the leg is a lighter dark. You know, play with the darks, and don't be afraid if you don't have a light spot somewhere that it'll ruin the image or make it different. It's all about your light source. Just, I think I'm rambling on at this point, but yeah, remember your light sources.
Hollow note disconnected.
Think about your color choices. Don't always just go for black. I trust me, you'll love yourself, you'll love your art so much more when you learn about using opposite colors on the color wheel to create your darks and lights. But yeah, I guess that's all I have to say in my own rambled, twisted words.
No, it's good. You're good.
Woo!
I do really like the subtle background going on here. The clouds going on in the back. Nice little colors going on in them. It's not
Definitely
just a
some nice
flat blue thrown there.
You know, yeah, clouds are one of the hardest things to do too, so kudos for trying and doing them. They're hard, and they brought a really nice touch to it.
Excited to see more from Bow to Your Waifu. Alright, shall we go on to the next one then?
Let's do it.
Woo! We're only an hour into this thing. Holy.
We're just going through 'em.
And this is the last one.
Fist butter.
Fist butter. This one actually holds a little happy little place in my heart because it was an art trade with me.
Oh, you get to critique your own art trade.
That's a little bit awkward, but I'm gonna do it anyway because they asked for it.
Dun dun dun. Let me join in. Let's see, what can we talk about first?
Alright, so the pony anatomy is actually wonderful. That really frail Fluttershy that's going on is great. Wing positioning isn't. They've moved them too far back at the back. Rainbow Dash wasn't really a small filly. She always had large proportions on her. Like, she was well toned, well sized.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're to look back at the show, whenever Fluttershy was this small, Rainbow Dash was sizable. She was right up there with the males rolling around. So, under that, really my suggestion going on here is just enlarge the hooves a little bit on Rainbow Dash there. So they sit the normal filly proportions of about 3/4 of a head size to a hoof.
I can agree with that.
Fluttershy is awesome though. Now, the point about the wings that I was saying is they're just a touch too high. Just gotta shrink this pen down a bit. The reason I say that is because we have your body parts here. Generally, where the wings sit is they follow along just above the shoulders. So if we go, here's one of the shoulders. We switch over to a different color for this. So if we take the shoulder and the spine and we place it somewhere along this line, see that unison, that joint that connects somewhere around there, just behind where the shoulder is, and just along the spine, which I guess I can throw a purple line over. Somewhere there in this happy little pink circle, purple circle, whatever, is whereabouts you'd want to join that wing. Easy thing to mess up. It happens all the time, especially when you're trying to, give them a really small size. Also easy to correct. You just sort of grab it and pull it on down. But damn, these lines are nice and smooth. Like the little poofy lip that Fluttershy has.
The expressions, I gotta say, Fistbutter's expressions are pretty great in all of the work I've seen him do so far.
Copper cord disconnected.
Now, the background could be noted on. I know this was a sort of quicker sketch towards the end of its life, but the background mountains and their general shading that's thrown on, they don't seem to match up with the same sort of feeling that the rest of the image has, where well-defined lines, nice and clean, the background just sort of falls into oblivion on that.
Definitely.
The way I'd correct it, I would either step back in what you're doing, as in not trying to give definition to the mountains so much in these short strokey lines as trying to do more broad shapes. And I'll see if I can quickly do that here. It's going to be hard because I can't actually do a light color, but something like a watercolor wash instead, where it's thrown in shape. We're going to call this a mountain real quick. Whee. And then as we go back, we just lighten it up. Lighten it up until it fades into oblivion in the ambient occlusion or something along those lines is the word. Where it just sort of disappears into the particulate that's in the sky. I'm trying to remember the wording for that. Why it disappears. But anyway, the reason I say this is because it's quick to throw down. You can spend a little time, giving it a little white to it. But the goal is less detail in the background. And that should stop it from having this weird disconnect of being somewhere between detailed and not detailed.
Well, I think also, I don't know if you mentioned it or not, I think something that could connect this entire image is that the bottom half is lined, but the top half is lineless.
And now you do have the choice of throwing some black lines in there and trying to match that. The issue with that is you are going to make the background pop more. But if you're to use sort of a gray scale fading in or a more monotone scale, you can get away without those lines. At least in my opinion. once again, everyone approaches art differently. The
Totally.
final product will be different for everyone, and that's not a bad thing. That's a great thing.
Not at all. I mean, not at all that it's a bad thing. It is a great thing.
Not at all. You're wrong, Living Dead. Just wrong.
Totally. Stop doing art forever.
So, unless if you have anything else to say on this, that would be all of our art to critique.
I mean, does anyone from the chat have anything to submit, or is it a quiet day today?
We'll give them about 5 minutes. 5 minutes of talking between themselves, I assume. You actually want to throw into the chat that verbiage? Yeah.
Strangest Source, they aren't crappy poems. You're learning. That's all it is.
As Jake the dog would say, the first step to sucking is the first step to being kind of good at something.
Yeah.
I hope to see that digital art next week, Crispy.
Yeah. One of these weeks, we should do some art for Living Dead and then have them critique us.
That'd be crazy.
We can teach critique too.
Ooh. Would I purposely choose to do wrong things then? That's no fun.
No.
I tend not to draw too much anymore, though. I've been doing more clay than drawing.
We can critique your clay figures.
I tried to submit one of my clay figures before. It didn't get much critique. I got comments about it looking kind of nifty.
I have a Reddit I might need to throw at you for like crafts and stuff. People are pretty good about giving critique or help if you want help or anything.
Sweet. Because I would love to know about how I'm supposed to actually make a frame inside of these things.
Oh yeah, there's Reddits for that. I can hook you up.
Nice. BFC, I have massive clumsy hands, and you know what? I do a pretty good job, well, at least from what other people have told me. The secret is just take your time.
Yeah.
Like most of the clay things I've done take about 6 to 8 hours to finish. The one I made for Alley Claw was probably about 20 or so hours. That's because I just went balls to the walls and went crazy.
Dude, it's displayed on my shelf. I've got the Nightmare rarity. I have a regular rarity, Spike, a little plush rarity. It's in my row of rarity.
Nice.
Wow, this was a quick one this week. I guess there's nothing.
Yeah. Do we want to do the group drawing? Is that a thing?
Yeah, last time. Did you see the thing from last time?
No, I didn't get linked it.
Oh, hold on. We made an official tag on Derpy Borders so we can submit them there. The Draw Pile Disasters is our tag.
Oh, yes.